Shalom. I would like to give all reverence, due benevolence, worship, honor, praise, and glory unto the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, whose name is Yahweh Shai. This is an exhortation, as always, to you Jakes, those of you whose fathers consider themselves to be Black, Hispanic, or Native American, to return unto the laws of your fathers, to build your faith, and to do what the Scriptures say. One of the commandments that we are required to keep is that we are not permitted to steal. Stealing is very bad because you're taking something from someone else or some other entity that does not belong to you. Theft is really detrimental on so many levels because, number one, if you're caught, you damage your own reputation. Number two, you're damaging the livelihood of someone else, whether it's by way of you taking something that they can make money off of in their business or something that they spent their hard-earned money on. When you take something from someone else, they have to go and replenish that which you stole, or they have to retrace their steps and go through a whole process in order to condemn you. Beyond that, if you're seen by others, then it's just a bad look on your part. Beyond that, you can lose the trust of your friends, your family, a community, a congregation, and so on. And lastly, it's a bad example to set for others. Let's say if you're someone who chronically steals and you do so when your children are present or you do so around your friends and you make sport of it, then that's not something that is good, because then you can either rub off on them or you can encourage them if they're of the same spirit as you. Rather, you should be a beacon of light to discourage such behavior. So we'll just go straight into the commandments and just get it straight out of the Lord's mouth. This is Exodus chapter 20 and verse number 15. It says that thou shalt not steal. So it's very simple. Thou shalt not steal. We're not supposed to take things that don't belong to us. Now, this goes many ways. This could be you literally seeing a tangible item or product that belongs to someone else that you take and put into your possession without them knowing. This could also be any time in which you use a product or service and then not pay for it. So we need to be very careful in that anything that requires payment, we have to pay that dollar amount. We can't use services and products that require payment and try to find some backdoor means to enjoy those services. Now, the book of Leviticus doubles down on that. This is the book of Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 11. It says, "Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another." So when you're stealing, you're also lying. Most of the time, depending on who you're dealing with. If you steal from, let's say, this is pretty popular. I know there's people who like steal from their parents. They'll steal money from their parents' like purse or their pocketbook or their secret stash in their house. If you're stealing from your parents, you're lying to them, because it's either you get an allowance or they give you money from time to time, depending on how old you are, if you're still living with them under their roof, and that's your family. I'm pretty sure in most cases they trust you to be trustworthy around their stuff. So if you need money from them, then they would probably just expect you to approach them and say, "Hey, I need money for this, this, and that," and it'll be up to their discretion if they want to give it to you or not. But if you steal from your parents, then they can't trust you because you're lying to them. You're being dishonest. You're going behind their back. You're not going to do that right in front of their face. They'll probably snatch it out of your hand and smack you or something like that. So that's an example right there. When you steal, you're also being dishonest, and the Lord does not like liars. There are 6 things that the Lord doth hate. 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, you're someone who's very proud, you think that you're higher than you actually are. The Lord doesn't like that. He likes those who are humble, who don't think much of themselves. A lying tongue. So that just goes hand in hand. And you can read that in Proverbs chapter 6, starting at verse 16. It goes on. Another one, which is part of the seven, is feet that be swift in running to mischief. So if you're someone who enjoys stealing, that's mischief. Like, what do you see in like all these like cartoons, for example, like, or like these cat and mouse chase type movies? You just see a bunch of mischief going on. If you're stealing, you're also putting your life in danger. Here in Babylon the Great in the United States, just speaking of this country alone, this great city. If let's say you're in a state that allows people to open carry like guns and weapons and stuff like that, and you go into someone's shop and they see you stealing, they could pull out their gun and they could legally shoot you and kill you. Is it really worth stealing some sort of electronics? Or, I mean, if you're really on that wicked type of time, stealing like a beverage or something like that from a convenience store. There was a story about that back in the 90s, I believe it was. There was I believe she was a Judite, but I don't know exactly which tribe she hails from. But she was what we would call a so-called African American, I believe. She went into a store that was ran by some Moabites, and I believe she like took, or she was suspected of taking like a beverage or some food, and then she got shot. But we see this often. We also see this like in sneaker releases. We'll see that there are people who will, or not even in sneaker releases, like in big department stores. We hear about this like on an annual basis. A rowdy group of teenagers runs into a department store. They just clear everything out. Sometimes we've even seen that at stores like Gucci. They'll take the shades and the jewelry out of the store, out of the boutique, and just run out. And of course, if it's a large mob, then security is not really going to do anything about it, because at that point they're more focused on their life, making sure that they don't die. And on a deeper level, the authorities will catch up with you, because in this modern society we have surveillance cameras everywhere. You can't really get away with anything. So speaking on that example right there, that touches on another commandment. This is predicated around thou shalt not steal, but if you're someone who takes pleasure in doing stuff like that, then you could find yourself transgressing another commandment, which we can find in Exodus chapter 23. And verse number 2, it says, thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many, to wrest judgment. So you could follow a multitude to do evil, and that's not good either. We're supposed to be holy, be separate, and follow the commandments as best we can. So we can't swiftly run toward that type of behavior. And it's best to, if you need money to, depending on how old you are, again, ask your parents. And if your parents can't afford it, just trust that your parents are doing the best that they can. And if you are of age, find a job. Jobs can be difficult to obtain, especially the younger you are, but try your hardest. Try to make a living. Try to earn some money so that you can get the things that your heart desires according to what it is that you have. This is the book of, I want to get another precept in the book of Exodus chapter 22. Now, the reason why before I touch on that, this is the book of Exodus chapter 22 and verse number 7. It says, if a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double. So that's important. let's say you give your friend like $100 and you're like, yo, just hold this $100. I'll be back like, I don't know, tomorrow, whenever it is to come pick it up. I trust you. Just hold it for me because I'm going this place, that place. I can't carry cash on me. Just hold it. Or better yet, if your friend's like, hold a debit card for me. You hold your friend's debit card. If someone else comes into your house and steals that debit card, that person has to pay double. So let's say they run up the debit card, they slide it in the contactless, or they put it the chip reader in so they don't have to sign for it, they don't have to show ID. They have to pay double for whatever it is that they stole. So save yourself the headache and just get the money that you need the just, honest, and right way. So those are a few precepts on stealing. Just to round out, we're supposed to make sure that we're dealing honestly with our brethren. Don't stain your reputation. Don't harm the livelihood of others. Don't take things that are cherished by other people. You don't know how much someone may like something that you took from them, and even if it's something that they hate. If you walk into their house and they're like, hey, yo, I hate this piece of furniture. I've been meaning to get rid of it for mad long. It's a small piece of furniture. You go ahead and you take it. You're still stealing. So it's very important that we walk with integrity and try our best. And also when it comes to services, in this modern time, there are a great many services that we can use. If you have like a gym membership, for example, and it expires, but you walk into the gym and they didn't catch that you didn't re-up your annual agreement or whatever it is, if you go to like Crunch Fitness or something like that, then don't go into the gym knowing that you're not set for that month. Only go into the gym if you're going to make that right, or if that's something you want to continue. That's just an example. Don't use services that you have not been sure that you've secured. And yes, refrain from stealing at all costs. So many bad things can come from it, and the Lord can get up with you for it if you make it a habit. And if you don't repent for it, no matter how many times you do it. With that, I say, Shalom, Israel. Thou shalt not steal. Shalom.